Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. I'm so happy that you popped in tonight, which is Thursday, June 8th, 2023. You know how we do this. We start on a Saturday, we roll all the way through the week, and we finish up on a Friday with our master topic. Really glad that you're here. And if you're watching us, whether that's 1 a.m., 1 p.m., 12 midnight, 12 noon, 6 a.m., 6 p.m., 10:30 a.m., 10:30 p.m., whenever you're doing it. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for the like, Daniel. And, I really do appreciate that. So let's get right into our master topic. We've been talking about something pretty cool all week. And we're talking about ARPC, exception, acceptance, rejection, projection, connection. We're on series 2, which means we're on our second year. We're on show 23, episode number 6. Wow. All right. So we've been talking about ARPC pretty much all week because that's what our topic is about, right? And so when we think about this, what I want you to understand is that ARPC is something you need to understand to be successful in life. So first thing I want to talk about is something called the connection phase. All right. So how do we connect with people? We connect with people through our eyes, through our gestures, our body language, right? We connect with people by their energy, by being around them. So if we think one thing, right, and we already know what projection is, so we think one thing and that happens and it gets projected, it automatically gets connected, or let's say associated with the person or thing that we're in front of. All right, let's digest that a little bit. Let's say that you are at an art exhibit and you're looking at all these great, statues and pictures like, oh wow, these are pretty amazing. And so you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. This thing, let's say that the Leaning Tower of Pisa or whatever it is. And you're like, wow, this is amazing. The artist really put detail into this. And then suddenly the artist just comes up and, oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Oh, I didn't know you were there. That's okay. And so connecting happens when we bring out a feeling. Does connecting happen if we don't bring out a feeling? Yeah, because people's eyes, people's body language still elicits a feeling that people are able to pick up. It's very similar to the feeling you get when you just think. If I ask you to just think of something, but think of nothing. So don't think of anything. And you're like, huh? And your mind's going crazy. Don't think of anything. And you're like thinking of all these crazy things. Thinking, okay? And the energy that you have causes that connection to be pretty amazing. So we've talked about how this works. Accept or reject, you project, and then you connect. So another way we connect is by showing empathy. John, what the heck is empathy? I don't want to get into a whole dissertation of empathy, but empathy is the ability to understand, not just share feelings, but understand what someone's going through. Share how you feel, express gratitude, show interest. Be genuinely interested in other people, encourage them, be supportive. There is no script, there is no manual for empathy. But I'll tell you that people that don't have empathy seem to piss off a lot of people. Why? Because it's like me first and you second. And I've always said that I don't matter, okay? You don't matter when you're talking to someone else. The other person is what matters. So you accept or you reject something. And I was with somebody just today, and I was talking about the IFYL show, and I was dropping off a flyer about potentially being a sponsor, and the person immediately shut down. Okay, and they projected off that they weren't interested. Well, I'm not the owner. Okay, no problem. And so I just didn't pay attention to that, and they just came like, well, I'm sure you know the owner, right? They pay you, and they didn't have that energy, right? You know what also happens when you get interns sometimes? Not all of them, but some of them. There's some that come on board and they beg you for an opportunity. And then you give them a chance to interview and they tell you they've taken something else. They've told you that it's not what they're interested in. And so that tells me that people are very selfish. They're very selfish and they're thinking only about themselves and not about others. So, how do you combat that? How do you diffuse that situation? I think it comes down to the fact that you need to realize that people are going to be people. And you can't expect them to be a certain way because if you do, they're going to disappoint you. So, if we lose an intern or somebody's like, okay, no problem. I make a comment like, hey, the only thing we would have expected is for you to like cancel the appointment online. So, we didn't have to do it. But they don't care. It's like, so we had an intern with us. We've had a lot of interns. We have like 27 interns now. And this one kid was really good. He was good with deadlines. And then he took another internship, which is probably not the right thing to do. He took another internship, which was for a larger company. And then instead of telling us that he was probably planning on leaving, he just says he's resigning immediately. And that tells me that that person doesn't have the ethics, right? They don't have the ethics. Ethics for what? Ethics for who or what you're being, right? Think about that for a minute. I'll tell you that people don't care about what you know until they understand that there's a commonality. Okay? And why do people do this? Do they do this for a reason because they want to become better? Yeah, I would say that. But ethics is something that's so important. And I will tell you that people don't get something. They just look at what's best for them. So if something happens whereby someone says, hey, this isn't working, first of all, you always should be transparent with people. Okay. I remember many years ago getting a part time job and I saying to them, look, I do other stuff. So this is just part time. I think if you set that understanding and they hire you with that premise, it's fine. If you take a position as an intern and let's say they say, oh, gee, I'm doing this intern. And then they say, oh, gee, I'm taking a position somewhere else, right? That changes things. It changes things. And it changes things in a certain way because You want respect. They want respect. But when somebody says to you, I'm resigning immediately, that's rude. It's disrespectful. It's selfish. It's selfish. And why? Let's face it. People all want to get on a running train, but they don't want to get on a train that's hardly moving. I think it ties into the fact that everybody sees the grass is greener on the other side of the world. I'm glad it looks greener. But you get over there and you notice it's not so green. It's not so green. When somebody hops ship on me, are they eligible to come back? No. Not if they hop ship and left me cold. So you're doing an internship with me, regardless of which one, and you say something, oh, I'm resigning immediately. That is the most low down thing you can do. The most disrespectful thing you can do. It says to me, hey, thanks for the opportunity. And then you say that in a comment, and then it's like, hey, I'm resigning immediately. That's like slapping you in the face. That's like saying, okay, gee, thanks, but no thanks. It's rude. This happens with kids. It happens with adults. Everyone's out for themselves. And they don't realize that if we just help one another, we'll actually all get further in our lives. I can't say to someone, hey, because you have a better opportunity, you shouldn't take it. I think that's great. But say something like, hey, John, I got a better opportunity working for XYZ Sports Network or whatever, and I would like to give you my 2 weeks notice. That's the proper professional thing to do. Or when somebody schedules a meeting with you, you don't schedule a meeting with someone and say, "Oh, gee, I got offered something somewhere else." You shouldn't even be taking that interview, right? You shouldn't. The part that really, I guess, gets me is the way people can be so indecent, how they can be so all up in themselves. I had an intern I was training today, and we were showing him how to go to car dealerships and get advertising opportunities. And he was talking to me on Slack, and I said to him, when you go in there, realize you're not all that. We're nothing. We're just humbly going there to present a possible opportunity that we think they would benefit from. When you have that kind of an attitude, it changes. So he was telling me that I was talking to this one lady, and she kept being like, yeah, yes, yeah, yes, yeah. No reallys, nothing like that. And what they're really doing is saying, shut up. They're trying to just let you speak because they figure it'd be easier to just let you finish your sentences, and then they're just going to blow you off. See, that's rude. But that comes from acceptance, rejection, projection, connection. So where I want to end tonight is the fact that you have a choice, ladies and gentlemen, whether you accept something or whether you reject something knowingly. You don't have a choice to project it. You have a choice of whether you can accept or whether you can reject. The projection happens automatically, and so does the connection happen automatically. Tomorrow, we're going to dive in a little deeper and talk about this from a different perspective. But tonight, I want you to understand that if you're not accepting something or you're not rejecting something and you don't knowingly understand how or why you're doing it, you might be doing the wrong thing. I'll give you a perfect example. You get neighbors all the time, right? Neighbors always want you to help them. Neighbors, I had a neighbor a while back. They wanted me to help them fix a printer. So I was like, okay, sure. It was no big deal. Then they wanted me to look at something else. And before you know it, it turned into 4 hours. And then she said, well, what do you get? How much do you charge? And so I told her, and she's like, oh, gee, I can't afford that. Let me see if I got a TV dinner or something in the fridge. And I'm like, really? I'm saying this to myself, not out loud. So I think when those things happen, you remember those feelings, and they ask you again, you got to make the choice to make yourself busy, right? And say, look, I appreciate that you need my help. Right now, I'm tied up with some things. And then they're going to do one of two things. They're going to say, oh, well, I'm willing to pay you. All right, well, let me see when I finish this, but let me give you an estimate and let's go from there. Now, what happens when I do work for someone and they don't pay me, and I've asked them once or twice and they don't pay me, I just basically don't go back to them anymore. I'm like, don't worry about it. But I'm now not available to help that person because I think too many people in life burn bridges when people have put an olive branch out for them, including students, including adults, right? Even younger kids. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure, been an honor to be with you this fantastic, amazing Thursday evening. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel. Definitely comment below. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. Go to my YouTube channel, John Space E Space MRLAY Space Serial Entrepreneur. Look for that key phrase, help keep our content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, perhaps a nice, delicious, savory dessert plate. And we'll be so grateful with those pennies and dollars you invest into us. We'll put that into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content available. If people are on the sidelines and saying, what the are you doing? You don't need to answer them. Because if they're trying to dig into you and they're trying to make fun of you or they're trying to discourage you, you don't owe them an explanation. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Have yourself an amazing evening. I'll be back tomorrow. Definitely check out believemeachieve.com by scanning the QR code if you're watching us, or if you're listening to us on the podcast, go to believemeachieve.com. And I'll be creating more content to inspire you to become an even better version of yourself. Have an amazing night, everyone. And you know what? I am going to talk to you guys. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow. So have a great night. Take care.